Hello and welcome to the Instant Impact Event Show. I'm Cheryl Williams.
I'm CJ Williams. How's everybody doing today?
Wonderful to have you here. We're so glad you could join us today.
Yes, thank you for being here.
And we appreciate all of we've been getting a lot of interaction and feedback.
Yes.
And so I feel like
Thank you for your love.
We're starting to get that momentum going, right? It's like
it takes a while.
It's like anything, you got to be consistent with it.
Keep it going.
You're not going to put out one or two shows and get a lot of traction, and so that's why this year we made a commitment to putting out at least one a week. And here lately we've been putting out a couple with our main topic, and then we have our Q event conversations and Q&A that we've been doing. So
stand with it.
And actually we've been getting quite a bit of love for the Q&A shows. So it almost makes me think maybe we should, I don't know if we should transition to more of that, or
we'll see.
Have like a topic and then bring in some Q&A. That is why people love the event insights that we have, though, because they're always able to ask questions. We have a weekly group coaching call that we do. It's called Event Insights, and that's pretty much what we do. We have a specific topic that we cover, and then we always open it up for
questions,
for Q&A, and a lot of times, sometimes we just have the Q&A too, because there's so many questions people have.
And the questions are in depth too,
right?
And you're able to get into it more and break it down,
right?
Instead of just the surface level stuff,
right? And that's what's so impactful about the group or any type of Q&A sessions. Really, if you think about events, because we always like to relate things back to events.
Yes.
People, when you do your surveys or feedback or talk to people, at the event, what was your favorite part? What was the most impactful piece? They're always,
and that's it.
Normally the top two are Q&A, like when you open it up and we could stand up and ask our questions, but then also the panels.
Yes.
Which again, a lot of times our questions are in that too.
Yes.
And so, think about that when you're having your events. Are you opening it up for, questions? And some people are a little fearful of.
Yes, they are. And there's a way of asking questions also and setting it up properly.
Right.
Because so everyone isn't yelling in the middle of the event still.
Yeah, that's very distracting.
There's times for questions.
And you always want to let your audience know too that while you're having your presentation, you're not going to be taking questions, so go ahead and jot those down.
Yes.
And at the end of that session, or during a time when you're actually going to open it up for a Q&A session, that's the time. And then you would have a microphone and people can get up and ask their questions at that time. That way it's not breaking up the presentation.
Right.
It's not stopping and starting that flow.
Right.
You actually have specific times for that.
And then when you ask that person the questions, they stand up unless a mic is being run to them and ask their name and where they're from.
Yeah.
So, and also you can have a mic runner, or you can have a mic somewhere where it's going to be great for the camera behind you. It's because they will turn the camera for the people because they want to get the people involved that are asking questions.
Yep.
And they want the question on a microphone because that's being recorded also.
And it just, and
everybody can hear.
I'm sure you've been to an event, or maybe you put on an event yourself, where people who aren't used to having a microphone in their hand almost seem like they don't know what to do with it. They think it's a baton, they need to twirl it, they tap it multiple times. They have it here, up here, over here.
Don't give it to them early, because then it's like.
We've even had ones where they feel the need to press the button. I mean, it's already.
Oh yeah, turn it off.
It's like turn it on and turn.
Oh, it's not working. Yeah, because you turned it off.
Right. So having a mic stand with the microphone on it, that way it's hands free. They don't have to touch it.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be fumbled and bumbled.
That's what I like. Yes.
It's not something.
Nice mic stand right in front.
Yeah. And and the way you set it up for them is you just tell them, you walk up to the microphone stand and you ask your question. You don't have to press any buttons, you don't have to do anything. You can just keep your hands down to your side if you would like, So you're leading them on that, but it's much better than running a microphone.
Yes, it is.
Because you can't have mic runners. And if you do have that, then my suggestion is make sure the mic runner is continuing to hold the mic until they're ready to go, right?
Yep.
So and if you have a larger audience, having multiple
Microphone.
microphones, and basically you can just alternate. So if you have 2 on either side of the room, you have them make a line. They go
Yep.
from one side to that, and they can just kind of alternate asking their question.
Yes.
And then at a certain point, you're
You
going
have
to
to
need
cut
to
it off,
cut
too.
off the line.
Right.
We're not taking any more
Yes.
questions. We'll finish up the few we have here.
That's
and then
very
we'll
important.
continue
You
moving
just
on.
don't let people keep getting up and then funneling that line longer and longer, because then it's done.
And you need to do that at a point in
Yes.
time when, okay, if you know you have about 20 minutes left or 15 minutes left, you want to cut it off before because you still have to answer the questions that are there.
Correct.
For
That
you
takes
as well.
time.
So, anyways,
Yes.
that's something. But we did want to, say thank you to you guys for sharing the show.
Yes.
And also
getting it out there more.
and take some
Thank
time
you.
to, no matter where you're watching or listening, if you could go, give us a 5-star review and a rating.
Yes.
That
That
is
would be
awesome.
awesome.
And just continue to share the show. We're creating an event community. Share
Yes,
it with
we
your
are.
other like-minded speakers, coaches, trainers, entrepreneurs,
Yes.
people that are in events, people who are thinking about doing events, people who you think should be doing events. Get it out there. We want to
Yes.
spread the message. We want to, help everybody create impactful and profitable events.
There
And
you
that's
go.
what we're here for. That's why we take time out of our day to do these. We want to be, to educate and
Yes.
to impact
In a big
along
way.
the way.
Yes.
And so that's why we do, our
Multiple.
show. That's why we do what we like to call
Right.
our event minutes.
Yes.
It's
and a lot of content out there.
a lot of content that we're putting out there.
Yep. And our shorts.
Yep, our shorts, we call those instead of shorts, we call them our little event minutes.
Yep.
Just a quick little something in there to, give you an idea or a thought or something to
Yes.
progress on.
Yes. And we'll
so
start
we've-
going live more often too,
Yeah.
just to have a conversation with you.
Yep. So we've got lots of things in the works. We also have some very impactful education that's going to be coming your way.
Yes.
we
That you could take advantage of.
Right, and so we're going to be talking about that more when that is ready to go live. We will bring that to you guys as well. So we have a
Yes, we
lot of
will.
things that we are
All in the works.
working on for you.
Never stay
specifically.
stagnant.
Nope. And whether that's true in your business, in your industry, what are you doing? You
Yes.
want to do it. You want to be the best, and you're not
You
the
do.
best just by saying you're the best. It's
No,
by
you gotta back it up.
continually striving,
Yes, you gotta back it up.
moving and making progress, and say, okay, we're here now. Where can
Yes.
we take it next? Where's the
Correct.
next thing? The next thing, and that leads into today's topic that we're going to be
Yes.
talking about, which is.
Do one thing really well.
Yep.
Yep.
And while you're doing that one thing, it's like, okay, what is that? Close your eyes. Okay, if you were to say, like, what do we do, right?
Yeah.
Events. That's what we do, right?
Yes.
And but it's not just that we do events, because we do other things as well. It's that is our thing that we do, and we want to do the best at
Right,
that.
and that's staying focused.
And we want to stay focused and get that result, because when you're in something, you're in your lane, you're in your wheelhouse, you're in your expertise, whatever you want to call it, and you drill down, meaning you go deep into that industry that you're in.
Correct.
You're able to get more traction. You're able to become the expert. We have
Yes.
an episode, a few episodes back, we were talking, how do you become the expert? Well, it's not just saying you're the expert, right? It's
No,
because the continual evolution, the
training,
continual
and always
training,
learning.
the continual information that you're putting out there.
Yes.
And that's the other thing is like, it's not easy. That's not what it is. It's that because you've done it for so long, you make it look easy.
Yes,
But there's
for
nothing
everyone
easy
around
about
you.
there's nothing easy about any of this.
No,
No matter
or
what
anything.
business you're in, no matter what path you're on, no matter
Yes.
what you've got going on in your life, it's not easy, right?
No, when you
It's-
have that time involved into it.
And that's the thing. I like to say, so it's not difficult, it's just
different.
different, right? And so what is that different for you? What does that look like? And it's going to be different for everyone, right? But
sure
you've
is.
got to figure out what is your one thing, and how are you staying focused,
Yes,
and
how
how
are
are
you
you
honing?
getting clear, and how are you getting better at your one thing? And how do you go about doing that continually, right? It's not enough
on a regular
today
basis.
to say, well, this is my thing today. So
And then
many
change it tomorrow.
Yeah, and that is the challenge, is like everyone thinks, well, because everyone out there talks about the glitz and the glam and the this and the that
Or
and all
showing
the
this.
pretty things and all the fun things,
Right.
but not
they don't
really
show the challenges.
the behind the scenes, not the nitty gritty, not the challenge.
No.
And that's something else that, has bothered me about this industry in particular of events is, we are putting on a show. That's what we're
Right.
doing, right? And so when you go and watch a show, you're expecting
something.
perfection.
Yes.
You're expecting to be excited. You're expecting to be entertained. You're expecting to be enamored with
Right.
A, B, C, D, fill in the blank.
And then you
right?
get the opposite.
Right.
Because there was no thought ahead of time of it. It's what they've been doing for years.
Right. And so when you are putting on your event, how are you doing that?
Yes,
But
how are you making it
also,
different?
how are you keeping it real? Maybe, when you put on your event, you're showing one thing, and then behind the scenes, though, you can show some of the challenges, some of the struggles, or
Yes.
some of the pitfalls, or some of
And
the
then
things.
say you've never even noticed.
Right.
All the challenges because we worked them through right during the event, right in front of you.
Yep. Or, maybe you want to on your social media, you want to become the expert, right? As much as, I don't love social media. I don't. If I didn't have to ever be on there, I wouldn't, right?
Right.
However, in the day and age that we live in,
Yes, it's
you're
a part of everything.
expected to have some sort of social media presence, right?
Yes.
People want to be able to find you. They want to be able to interact with you. They want to know what's going on. And
Yes.
you can decide how big of a peak that you give people, how much you show to them on a daily basis, right?
Right.
And so that's an area that I struggle with. It's like sometimes I want to put it all out there, other times like I don't want to.
No.
I just want to be today, right? I don't want to
Right.
have my camera out or my
Yes.
phone out and film and do.
Right.
And so that's why we've worked on batching content. Like when we have content
Yes.
production days, we have a day that we focus
gonna shoot.
on that. We know we're
Yes.
going to shoot, we're going to have hair and makeup,
Makeup.
we're going to change
Yep.
outfits, we're going to,
Yep.
go through, we're going to have our topics that we talk about, and that is that, right? Now, that
Yes.
doesn't mean that you can't share other areas and
things.
aspects of your
Right.
life. You can. And yet, a lot of times, you're seeing the highlight reel. And
Yes,
you're
of all
seeing
the best.
what
and
people
the
want
best
you to see,
things,
right? And so we're here to tell you in events, it's hard work, right? There is
Sure
a
is.
lot that goes into putting on events. There
Way
is
before it even starts.
detail after detail after detail, months and weeks of
Yes.
build up for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, right?
Of how to even make it happen to even be sitting in that room that you're sitting in. It's a lot.
And so there's a lot of things that go along with that, from deciding your location to picking your venue to figuring out what food and beverage you want.
beverage, yep.
What topics are you going to speak on? Who are you going to have speak?
Who's
How many
coming in?
days
Are
is
they
it
gonna
going
make
to
it?
be? Like, is everyone going to, with all this plane stuff going on, you
Yep.
better have some backups
Is there
for your
pilots
backups
available?
because you don't know, right?
Right. Are you going out early just to make sure you're there?
I mean, flying privately kind of helps that, right? But that's
Yes,
not
it
a
does.
possibility for everybody.
No.
So if you're not able to fly private and you have something you need to be at, how are you making sure and ensuring that you're getting there? Are you
And there's
driving?
challenges with that too.
Right.
Because when we were traveling private, there's a challenge with the engine.
Yeah.
Or they attempt to get you a new jet. So then you're behind.
Right.
But when you are able to travel that way, you're early anyway. At least you're supposed to be. Unless you're doing another event beforehand.
Right.
So you're short on time. But that happens all the time also,
Right, and-
that something's happening with the jet. Especially when you're leasing it out from other people.
Yeah.
The jet didn't arrive on time. So everything is behind.
It's like a
Right.
domino
Or
effect.
these pilots aren't available, they gotta get more pilots.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that go, and travel though is a big one. So if you're having, your event where you live, then the travel
easy.
is not an issue for you.
You know what you're gonna deal with.
However, your attendees getting there could be. Right?
Right.
So these are all things to think about, and all these, and your speakers, if maybe you have speakers flying in from other places to come to your event.
Yes.
So, that's where
Because they're gonna fly in and then fly out.
right. And so we've been seeing, we always look for where's the bottleneck? Where's the challenge? And so what we have been doing is you need to get there early,
Correct.
right? You need to get there. You can't, no longer can you show up the night of and say, well, we're going to be there, for tomorrow.
No.
I've seen, when I am on social media, look, I'm seeing challenge after challenge after challenge with people getting to their events.
Yes.
Or having to cancel, or showing up late, or needing to figure out,
Yes.
how do I rent a car and drive to where I need to go?
Right.
But there's not enough hours, even if you drove
Yes.
straight through to get there, right?
And then they're not even honest with you because you're thinking you're going to get on another plane, but then it was something else. Like the flight attendants and everybody else worked too long.
They're past their hours.
They're past their hours, and nobody else is coming in yet, but they have you waiting 8 hours instead of the 2.
Right.
And that's a big difference.
Yep. And so we had a challenge with you a few months back where you were here, you were flying, we were at the airport to pick you up, you were touching down, and then you were asleep, so you didn't even know. But I saw the plane come
They
in.
were coming in, and
then
it went.
it just left, and so I didn't hear from him for another half hour, 45 minutes. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And he thought he had landed and arrived. I'm like, I don't think you're here in said city. And it ended up being they weren't. They were a couple hours by drive. I think it was like 4 hours.
Yeah.
They ended up flying to a whole nother airport for a whole other thing.
And then said it was fog or something like that when it wasn't.
No. So you never know, right? So if you're doing your one thing really, really, really well,
Yes.
these are all the things that you have to know the nuances. You have to know the little bits.
You're
have
going to be early.
You have to look at those bottlenecks. And right now, travel is one of those
Yes,
things.
it is.
Right?
Yes, it
and
is.
And it's one thing if you're getting on a plane or a boat or a car for leisure, right? Hey, if you missed your
totally
flight,
different.
Oh well. If you don't make her connecting, all right. Hey, what if you
that's a
make it,
major.
but your baggage does not?
Oh, man.
Okay, that has been lost luggage. Has been something major.
So now they're putting all these steps in that you got to get your bag and then recheck it in for your next flight. That's been happening.
Especially if you're
so
going
they don't lose
internationally.
because they've been losing it so much.
Right. So that is another challenge. So if that happened to you, right, let's say you packed your stuff, you don't have small enough that you can put it on a carry-on, so you check it, okay?
Yep.
You are
Being there
fine
for
and
days.
dandy because you're there like, whew, okay, I'm there.
Yeah, knock
but
on
then you
wood.
go
That
to
didn't happen
baggage
to me.
claim and your bag is not there. What are you going to do? All of your suits and skirts and dresses
Yes.
and heels and makeup and
Big time.
whatever else, that you need
Yes.
for your event. If it's all in that bag, what are you going to do?
Happens to Ed Milet all the time. He has the worst luck.
Oh, poor
Please
Ed.
change airlines.
Oh,
It's like
goodness.
always Delta or something.
I don't know
It's
what,
like, just don't.
every time he says he's going to, I say a little prayer
Yeah.
for you, Ed.
He's not
I
on
really
his.
do.
He's not on his jet,
No.
so he's doing commercial, and he never has his luggage.
Yeah. So, or
Pack
he's missing
smaller and then have it with you.
But not even that. It's
Just
that
have
his,
two.
his flight keeps getting canceled over
Or-
and over and over.
yeah,
That was a
or
song a
lost
few weeks
luggage.
ago.
Yeah.
So it's
Sorry, buddy.
that is something that you have to look at now. This
Yes.
is a reality. If you are doing events and you are traveling, you're
Oh.
speaking, you're putting on your own events, you have other speakers coming to you. These
Yes.
are some of the pitfalls, and that's
Correct.
when we talk about, doing one thing really, really
Yes.
well. Well, if you're doing your one thing really well, then you
Yes.
have to know what are you going to do when these challenges arise.
Right, like making sure you have a spot filled, a filler, if a speaker doesn't show up. Or you're going to use somebody that's in town, or you're going to teach an extra section.
You've got to have, I like to think of it as, everyone I think has seen, most people have seen Mary Poppins, or at least know the concept of Mary Poppins. Okay, Mary Poppins, she always had her bag.
Yes.
Right? And it was her bag of tricks, right? Her bag of endless possibilities. You would look in there and you wouldn't see much, but man, if she reached into that bag, she would
Watch
be
out.
pulling out everything, right? So you need to reach into your bag, right?
Yes.
What is in your bag that no matter what comes, you take a deep breath. Okay, we have thought about this. We know we're going to do this, right?
Yes.
Okay. If a speaker doesn't show, it is sad. Okay. People are going to be a little disappointed. And
Well,
yet
if they don't know the schedule, they don't know the speaker was coming.
no, they know. A lot of times they know the speaker's going to be there. They don't know what time slot the speaker's going to be there. But if you have a keynote speaker or you have someone who has been on the bill, right, of, hey,
Right.
this person's coming, they're coming, right? You might not know what day, what hour, what time, but they're supposed to be there. And if they're not able to make a connecting, their flight gets canceled altogether. They say, we'll book you in 3 days from Sunday. Well, the event's come and gone by then, right?
Yes.
So that doesn't help. So what do you have to do? You have to manage expectations, right? So you're going to be honest. You are going to take care of it. And you're going to have to let people know, like, look, hey, so-and-so is not able to make it. We know this is something you were wanting to do.
Maybe he can go live.
What we're going to do is we're going to see if we can get him live. That's one thing. Okay. Hey, they might not be in the room with you. If for some reason that's not going to work, then we will have a time where we have them on a call, or a time when we have them on a special session with you to be able to do that.
Like a webinar or something.
Something, right? Something to at least attempt to make it up. Then you also, what we're going to do during this time, and it needs to be something you're going to dazzle them, knock their socks off with, right? We are going to actually do this, right? We are going to take something that I don't normally teach in this particular event, and we're going to bring that in, and we're going to open that up to you guys, right?
Or even a product.
We're going to, so you've got to already kind of have these things. If this happens, we're doing this.
Right.
If this happens, we're
Bring
doing
in the
this.
cookies and coffee.
Right. So, let them drown their sorrows on some sugar and, some caffeine, and they're doing a little better, right?
Yes. Because everybody loves snacks.
It's all how you present it, right? If you go up there and, darn it, I'm really bummed. Well,
no, you can't show that.
Everyone's going to,
No.
you might be really bummed, right?
Right, keep it on the inside.
But you've got to go up, and you have to remember you're managing their expectations.
You're in charge.
You are the one in control of the energy of the event.
Yeah,
just like
you could bring everybody down.
I love doing experiments. We have 3 kids, right? I love doing experiments with the kids. It's like we have something come up, and it's like, well, how are you going to tell them? Well, it's all how we frame it, right?
Oh, yes.
And so I can frame something with these children of ours, and
they'll love it or they'll hate it.
Versus if I frame it, I'm like, watch, this time I'm going to frame it this way,
yes.
and we're going to have a little more of a letdown, right? So it's all how you frame it, how you give it to them, how you package it, how you present it, that they are then going to receive it, right? And so by you doing what you do best, and you've already thought out these things.
Yes, you already have your plans.
You've already charted the course. Like, look, if this happens, we're doing this. If this happens, we're doing this.
Yep.
You're calling an audible, but your audible...
And it's easily done.
You've already practiced it, right? Just like, think about it in any sports. Football, for instance. They're out there, and they've got their headsets now. People can talk to them all the time, right?
And they'll change a play.
Sometimes that goes out, right? And they don't have that person talking in their ear anymore.
Or they can't hear because it's too loud.
So they're able to look to the side and know what the coach is saying on the side, receive it, right? And on we go. Or the quarterback is skilled enough that they are able to, on the line, change
just like the ones
play
with more experience.
Because they have the experience, right? Yes. And so it's like, in you and your field, you need to be the one with the experience. You need to be one with the expertise. You need to be doing your thing so well that you are constantly thinking about all the things that could be happening, but you're solving. You've already solved all those things.
Yes, easily.
You know what's coming up. So there's not a hiccup. There's not a setback.
Yes.
Because you're moving to the next.
And you already had the meetings ahead of time. You went over with your team. All right, what challenge could happen here? What challenge could happen here? How about registration?
Right.
Did we have enough people for that? So you're going to know different things that can happen for that, because a lot of things can happen.
Yeah, and you just brought up a good point there too.
Because it starts with registration also.
If you're having your
as soon as they
event
get there.
out of town, a lot of times you're shipping in your stuff, right?
Oh,
you're shipping in your stuff for
all the
registration.
name tags,
you're shipping
all
in
the stuff.
all of your lanyards and all your supplies.
And they shouldn't be shipped in, that kind of items. They should stay with you or the team, whoever's taking care of that. Don't mail it ahead of time. Keep it with you, just like your hard drives, for shooting all the video, and you have all the content on there. Don't throw it in a box to be mailed, because that happened before, and guess what? There was a hole in the box or something, and all the footage is gone.
Yeah, and you can't
Keep
get that back.
kind of stuff with you.
Now, I will give a caveat that if it's name tags, lanyards, sometimes that can be a lot. Depending on the size of your event, you've got to ship it, right? And so because there's not enough room for you to be able to put that on. Or if you did, you can't take it as a carry-on. It's too much, right? So then what are you doing? You're putting it as a checked bag. Well, what happens when the luggage gets lost? It's the same concept with that, right?
Keep it with you.
No. So
Just have an extra bag.
it doesn't always fit in the extra bag. It's not
But
always
you're not
the size
having
of a drive.
1,000 lanyards.
Maybe you are. What kind?
Okay.
What size event are you
well,
having?
if it's 1,000, ship. But also have a way to remake them with a little machine or something too.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay. He's off his soapbox now, so we will continue. What we're going to continue with is you have to deal with what is, right? Reality is reality. And you cannot physically always bring everything you need in
No.
a checked bag with you.
No,
it's
it
just
has to
not
be
going to
shipped.
happen. So back to our shipping conversation. Sometimes things will get shipped to the location and your shipment does not arrive, right?
Right.
Maybe
Or it's
you're
lost
shipping
at the
lanyards.
hotel.
Maybe you're shipping product. Maybe you're shipping other speakers are shipping in their items, and it doesn't always arrive. Sometimes these
No.
venues are so big, it arrives at the venue. It has been signed for.
You don't know who signed
and you
for it.
cannot find it at the venue. Okay,
Right.
so these are another things you have to think about
Right.
time and time
And you have
again.
to title it
and you
correctly,
have
too.
to solve for that. So we knew one speaker because they had this challenge happen. A box looks like a box, look at a box, right? It's brown, it's square, it's in there. So what he would do is they would put huge, this size, smiley faces, yellow ones on the side of their box, each side, because then you could say, you're looking for the box with a smiley face on it, okay? It makes it more identifiable.
That's a
right?
good one.
And so when you're thinking about these things,
I
how
gotta
can
write
you
that one
make
down.
your
Smiley
box
faces.
stand out, right? How can you make your shipment stand out? If you are, and you're dealing with hotel people, right?
Yes.
So they're
All
doing
the
their
time.
job, but maybe they're not as, concerned about it as you are. Maybe
No.
they don't understand the gold that's contained within
Yes,
the box.
because it's always in the early evening before they're delivering, because when you get in the room to set up for the next day, they're ready to go home and you're there wanting all your boxes
Yeah.
that nothing's up there yet. So they have to grab everything, get a pallet, whatever you need
That also
to bring it up on a cart.
Is why it's very helpful to
Distinguish your
to
boxes.
have the not just the hotel, like the venue address on there,
The name of the venue.
the name of the event, the name of the ballroom that you're going to be, whatever, as much
Yes.
identifying information. And it should never be the speaker who's coming to speak their name on it. It should be the
Oh,
name
no.
of the event, right?
Yes.
Because that's what it's billed as everywhere.
Right.
That's what it's the name of the
And
event.
then they won't even give it to you because your name's not on it.
Right. So
If
it needs
if you
to
put
be
the speaker's name.
shipped to whatever the event name is,
Yes.
whoever's the head person in charge. It needs to go to that person. It needs to have the ballroom on, all of the, but then it needs to have an identifying marker, a smiley face, a star, a heart,
Right.
a rainbow. I don't care what it is, a freaking
Correct.
alien on the side. Whatever you want it to have, it needs to be something that someone can see with their eyes,
Yes.
big, bold, distinguishable, so they can say, I see it.
I like
because
that.
there's a lot of boxes, there's a lot of
Yep.
stuff. It's easy to get lost. So these are all things that, because you're an expert at what you do,
Right, you already know
because you
this.
are in the event industry, because you are a speaker, a trainer, a coach, a consultant, whatever your thing is, you have
Yes.
got to get so good at it that you can foresee the future. You can foresee the pitfalls and the challenges and the struggles that may arise. And because you do your one thing so well, you
Yep.
roll with it. You've already
Yep.
thought of that. It's kind of
Yes.
like playing chess. You're not playing the next move. You're playing
No.
5 moves ahead.
Yes.
You're solving for the challenge before the
Correct.
challenge arises so that you're quick on your feet. So you're able to handle it.
Yes.
You're able to move. You're able to, this is no big deal. Hey,
Yep.
we already rehearsed this, right? We already
We've been
addressed
through
this.
this
We already
already.
covered what this is going to be, because then
Yes.
you're able to keep it moving.
And what also happens is maybe you're a shorter person.
It happens.
It happens that the person that was going to be taking care of a certain thing is not there.
Yeah.
So be careful
That
of that
happens
also.
a lot during our days. And
Yes.
so a few years ago,
Oh, even events will be canceled
the whole
the
thing,
day
right?
right before.
because someone tested for something, right?
Right.
So
Or
you
the
have
whole
to
office.
be able to roll with it, rock with it, move with it. And maybe a man does go down. You know, people get hurt. Things happen. Challenges arise.
Get hurt, for
people,
sure.
You know, people fall and break something, or you know, they get sick, or something arises. How are you handling that? How are you going to move forward? But also, how are you fortifying your team, your event,
your contract also
to
be
work
able to
with
change
that
your date
as well, right? And this is one challenge that we've seen time and time again is so many events are built around one person, right? And so if that one person goes down, that whole event goes down. Versus if you can build up and maybe you have the one person, but now you're getting some other people that can kind of cover the same thing, that people are not so attached to the one person, right? Then it's like, oh, well, so-and-so's not here because they're sick. People understand people get sick. And we're going to actually still be able to continue on. We're going to be able to do even more and even better. And like that, it's how you set it up.
And you can come to the next event.
Yeah. So it's how you have prepared yourself for the unexpected because you are
fortified yourself
so good at what you do and you're doing one thing really well, right? You're staying focused on the one thing. You are honed in on the one thing that you can solve the challenges that arise for
every
that one
time.
thing. Right? If you are every Tom, Dick, and Harry, you wear all hats, you do all things. You're a speaker, you're a coach, you're a trainer, you're a, you know, on the weekend you do this
answering
over
the
here.
phones.
You come over here, you're not able. You've got
to do that. You need the people to do it
best, and then you need to have your team around you. But everyone comes together and works towards making sure that it's the experience that you're wanting to create. No matter if it's travel, no matter if it's sickness, no matter if it's something gets lost, something gets stolen, something gets broken. I mean that happens too. Things go missing.
Big time.
All the time. So because you are an expert in your field, because this is something that you do day in and day out, because you've drilled down on, because you've asked the hard questions on the front end, it's not so scary when these things arise on the back end, right? Because you have already planned for these things ahead of time.
By not packing a lot of electronics. Because what happens with the electronics in boxes? They throw them. They get lost.
Even if you have the cute things on it, fragile,
no, they don't. They're just like your bags on the airline. You see how they do it?
Like there goes that bottle of perfume.
Yes. Have you seen the video of when the machine inside the airport and it separates the bag luggage?
No.
And there's a big door that goes boom, because it's like luggage is going this way, and then there's a giant door that just hits it and goes to knock it the other way, and you wonder why certain things get broke.
You wonder why bags don't last as long as
it's not even the guys, it's the machinery that's even dividing everything up.
You remember back in the day, like we didn't have the luggage that you could snap or you could close. It was this old zipper, right? It was like the leather luggage. You had the little top open. It was like the suede or the leather, and you zipped it. Those bags lasted forever. Nowadays, we've got these hard cases things. They last maybe a year, and they are totaled, right? So is it because they don't make things as good as they used to? Or is it because you have doors slamming you in the you-know-what? I don't know.
That's it.
That is, maybe if you can weigh in on that.
Yes, let us know.
And let us know what you think it is. But also, before we wrap up today's show, we always want to remind you of we don't want you here just to listen.
No.
We want you to take action. We want you to implement. We want you to take your notes that you've done and actually put them into use, right?
Yes,
and
no matter how small.
That is the main thing that we are sticklers of. Is it's not enough to learn. It's not enough to listen. You have to do. You have to take. So think about what are a couple of the key things, the key takeaways from today's conversation, and how are you going to implement those into your business right away, right?
Yes, not fortifying everything. Things can happen. What? Equipment can be broke. What? They can lose our name tags. What?
Flights don't arrive. Like things. So how
Well,
can
I didn't
you
think of that.
take these concepts or these ideas and bring them back to your
Yes.
business and actually put them into use so that you can make sure that you're able to have the most impactful event possible,
Yes.
which then also turns around and makes it profitable as well, right?
Yes.
And so when you're thinking about that, what are the key takeaways
Yes.
and how are you putting those into action? Not tomorrow, next week,
Yes.
next year, today.
Another one is make sure that your sleeping rooms are verified. That the card's going to be there. You know how many times you went to an event and you couldn't get in your room?
A lot.
I mean, well, we don't have the card on file or this or that, or it wasn't paid for yet, so you cannot get into the room. You have to make those calls and stuff ahead of time.
Yep.
Just to realize that, because you're going to have a team coming right away.
And that's why having your checklist is so important, because that's one of the things on the checklist.
Yes.
Like, you've got to make sure.
Right, even have it printed.
Yeah.
And have it in hand.
The credit card authorization.
The credit
form
card
has been sent in.
authorization.
You have
It's for this many
confirmation
rooms.
numbers.
It's for this many rooms.
Each person's name is on it. Like, all
You're
of
not
those
going to get
things.
billed. Your team member isn't going to get billed the whole bill for the whole event.
Yeah.
Ask me that.
Yeah.
That's happened.
Many
Phone
times.
call. What the hell is this charge? $35,000. What?
Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah.
So you've got to. These are all things to think of, and maybe we'll put together a topic here soon on some of the challenges, pitfalls, things that can arise, because you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yes.
And we've been doing this for so long. It's just there's
Yes.
a lot, right? And if you're newer or you've done it a few times, or and you haven't been hit in the face yet and smacked around by all these things, they're
Right.
coming for you. It's just a matter of time.
Yes.
So be prepared on the front end, so when
Yes.
it does come, you're able to.
And that's what
still-
meetings are for,
still keep
too.
Sailing.
Saying, what can we prepare for?
Meetings are only as good as the information that you have to have in those meetings, though. So if you're sitting around saying what could happen, and you haven't done many, or you haven't had much
They don't
adversity or
understand.
challenges,
Yes.
you're not going to be able to have those. That's
You
why
need somebody experienced on that
having
team.
someone that's experienced, someone that can kind of point out the pitfalls, the mistakes, the challenges, how to avoid them.
The stories that's happened to you.
It's beneficial. Yeah.
Yes.
So think about that. What are your key takeaways? What are you
Yes.
going to be implementing? Make sure you like, comment, share.
Yes, share. Please share.
Subscribe.
Yes.
We're everywhere. We're attempting to be in all
And
places.
even more places.
Whether you like to listen, watch,
Right. That's the only two things.
we're
right?
there
You
for
can
you.
listen or watch
for right now.
for right now.
Unless
Okay.
you want to come be with us. And we do have
Yes.
events and things for you to be able to
Coming
do that.
up.
So we can, synergistically work with each other, so we can touch each other.
Yes,
So we
get
can,
hugs.
build that community. That's what we love the most about
most.
this. It's not just
Yes.
sitting here talking to you guys
Yes.
and, while
It's
we
showing
like
the
our
love,
set, and,
giving
we
the love.
love each other and all. It's
Yes.
about that community. It's about shaking hands, giving
working
hugs,
together.
answering questions, and you build
And
that
making your
synergy
business even better.
and energy, and
Yes.
that energy becomes impact, and it just
Yes.
continues to level up.
Yes.
And because when you're around more people, you want to level up, right?
Yes.
You're not just an island unto yourself. Well, I'm doing this over here. I'm kind of rowing my own boat. It's like,
Yes.
let's get
No.
let's all row together, right?
We're with
and let's
you.
go from a boat to a yacht to a wherever the next level is, right?
Yes.
Let's
Ocean
all,
liner.
Let's all work together to continue to move everybody up as a collective, and as a collective we all grow. And that's our big
Yes.
thing, right? From
Cruise
rowboats
ship. Honey, we got
to
to think
speedboats,
about cruise ships. Invite people to a
to
cruise ship,
yachts,
have our event.
cruise ships. Ooh, that'd be fun.
The event on a cruise
I
ship.
mean, if New Kids on the Block and all these like old
Can
people
do it.
groups
Yes.
can
Can
do
do it.
old, but you know what I mean, like older groups.
Yeah.
People will go.
That's what I said,
we
cruise
should
ship.
Look into that. We should
Look
have
into
an
that.
event on a ship.
On a ship. Friends of ours have done it, and it's a great time.
We just don't want to be like Gilligan's Island, sit out for a 3-hour tour.
Well, a little boat, there's a difference. Kids love that show.
They do. It's all these older shows are like coming back. It's
Yeah,
great.
we only let the kids watch the older,
There's
cool
nothing
shows,
good to
not
watch
the new
nowadays,
stuff.
So
Yeah, we're on Full House now, and
Lots of
you
things.
pulled out some. She pulled out some.
old
Woo!
ones. They love I Love Lucy.
Yes.
We've done Full House. We've done Gilligan's Island.
Yes.
Swiss Family Robinson. We're like going with the oldies and goodies.
Oldies
the
and
classics,
goodies, yes.
So I don't have to always
And they're
sit there
funny as hell.
and say, what is this that we're watching?
Yeah.
What are we learning?
Indoctrinating here or
Yeah,
there.
so-
No.
And just the level of respect and the things that come out of these kids' mouths these days.
Oh, yeah, no
We have
respect.
enough challenges as it is. Like, no, I don't need someone else giving them
No,
ideas.
adding extra crap.
Yeah. So,
Yes,
anyways,
thank you
we
for being
digress,
here.
But thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks.
We look forward to talking to you guys again soon. And in the
Very
meantime,
soon.
remember, it only takes an instant to make an impact. Bye, guys.
Thank you.